to the brilliant Charlotte Griffiths exclusive that aides representing the royal households of the King and Prince Harry have been having a little chit-chat.
Looks like Harry's big escape plan has totally flopped. He wanted freedom in America, but now it feels like shame and rejection. And the big shock was when King Charles said no to his huge $13 million loan ask. And this was not only about money, it was about respect and trust that Harry has already lost while running after his own way.
Possibly about how to heal the rift. Charlotte joins us now. What is going on?
Well, aides for Prince Harry, two of them, one of them Meredith Maines, who is Meghan and Harry's right-hand woman in Montana.
Crazy how Harry, who was once the sweet grandson everyone adored, is now asking the royals for money. The same royals he said he never needed, and it was not even in secret. It was official. While his California life is sinking, his Hollywood deals failed, his image is ruined, and the luxury life is costing more than he makes. So the prince who promised independence is now buried in debts.
Tito flew over, met with this other guy called Liam Maguire, who's their kind of UK sort of head of comms, and they went and had a very secret clandestine meeting in St. James's.
So that giant $13 million ask was not about business or charity. It was just Harry trying to survive, and King Charles saying no made it super clear the royals won't be used like a backup bank for a son who walked away and kept bashing them. Charles has put up with years of drama from Harry with interviews, Netflix shows, and endless shade making the monarchy look bad, and still, the king stayed silent, hoping things might heal. But when that desperate request showed up on his desk, that was the breaking point.
Tobin Andre. Tobin is the king's right-hand man. He's his chief comms guy. And they had this lovely little friendly meeting. Now, in years gone by, that would seem like a totally innocuous and ordinary thing.
So the king's patience finally snapped, because saying yes to Harry would not only hurt the crown's image, but also make his own rule look weak. Like it would show that betrayal still gets rewarded, that Harry can dump his duty and still expect a rescue. And by saying no, Charles showed he is protecting the monarchy and that loyalty is a must with real consequences. And now the embarrassment for Harry is massive. Like, think about it. Once he was a prince in golden carriages with guards saluting and crowds cheering, and now he's a man rejected by his own father and seen as a money problem, while the world knows he's broken America.
But of course, in the context that these people are completely not speaking, haven't been for years, this is a major rapprochement moment and the very first step in possibly Harry communicating with his father again. And we know
Now Harry is drowning in debts. He can't handle begging for help that nobody wants to give. And for a guy who always lived on privilege, this no cuts deeper than just money. It's like his whole status got erased with the king, basically telling the world, my son can't be trusted with money, with titles, or even support. And that message is loud, not just in the palace, but in governments, companies, and circles that once respected him, because if his own father won't back him, why should they? And to make it worse, even his charity has crumbled. And this stings extra hard since he kept saying service was his true legacy.
He hasn't spoken to his father in ages, years even, because he said so on a BBC documentary really recently.
He has sort of, Harry, in recent interviews, hinted that he wants to sort things out with his dad and even with his brother, who I'm not sure.
When the royals shut him out, Harry tried to reinvent himself through charity work, attaching his name to big causes and acting like a global humanitarian. But now, with his main charity shutting down, the truth is out under him. The money vanished, donors left, and all the respect faded away. A cause that once had people loyal and giving turned empty right in front of everyone.
How open to a chit-chat William would be. Without being dark, should we be reading any more into this about possible arrangements?
The charity had to shut down because Harry, as the face of it, failed to keep the trust people expected. And this was not just about bad money handling. It felt like a betrayal to the very folks he promised to support. Veterans, kids, and vulnerable people, all left with nothing except the bitter memory of a patron who cared more about saving his own image than standing by them.
That might be being made for a particular reason.
Honestly, that is not what I heard. I just heard that Harry is desperate to open the lines of communication and that he's just been blanked.
The irony is wild because Harry left saying he wanted freedom to serve, not just do royal traditions, and he tried to show himself as this modern royal who could make a difference his own way. But now he's broken America, rejected by his dad and watching his own charity shut down instead of proving he could serve better without the monarchy. He proved the opposite, that without the crown, his promises fall apart, and the prince who once said he wanted to change the world can even keep his own projects alive.
For years and years, and now he's had this tiny little moment, this little window, and it's the very beginning. Anything else, who knows? I mean, of course, he did say in the BBC documentary, I don't know how long my father has left, and that.
This is the point where Harry's humiliation turns into full disaster, because that 13 million loan rejection was not just one moment. It was a sign that he has no safety net left. His ties with the royals are gone. His Hollywood image is ruined, and his money situation is falling apart fast.
It went down really badly with the King's aides because, actually the King's doing quite well with his cancer treatment. Nobody really can speculate. He doesn't even know. I mean, nobody knows how long they've got left, right? But, it is a shame when one's father.
And now even his charities that were his last shield are closing down. The same guy who once showed fresh young energy in the royals is now just a warning story of pride and bad choices. What is left is a prince with no credibility, no money, and not even the dignity of getting help from his own father.
Has cancer, even if the prognosis is good, not to be speaking with them. So, I can sort of see what you're saying. I think maybe that did play a part in it and maybe increase the pressure on that meeting taking place. But either way, it had to happen. These two people have to speak again one day.
Notably, in absence of anybody representing women.
So the first chapter of Harry's money downfall is super clear. He thought he could be independent, but he miscalculated everything and leaned on titles and links. He didn't even respect anymore. His dad's rejection showed he has no allies. His charity shutting down showed he has no real leadership, and his broke life in America showed he has no control. The memory people will keep is not of strength or comeback, but of a prince who begged for millions and got told no. A prince who promised service but ended up delivering nothing but collapse.
William and Kate.
Yes, I think when I get the picture of William and Catherine meeting with Harry's aides, that will be an even bigger world exclusive because I think we'll be waiting a long time for that one. But to open the lines of communication up with his dad is a really, really massive step. They have been.
And a prince who gave up duty chasing ambition only to end up with absolutely nothing. And the moment King Charles rejected that desperate 13 million loan, it was not just a father saying no to his son, it was a statement loud enough for Britain, the Commonwealth, and even the world to hear. Because for so many years, the royals had kept their calm, letting Harry throw insult after insult through interviews, books, Netflix deals, and endless drama while they stayed quiet, hoping maybe he would come back to his senses. But this time, the silence broke, and the king finally showed that the monarchy is not some soft place where betrayal gets forgiven with money. Instead, he proved that loyalty is the price of respect, and that choices have consequences. It was like a line drawn in stone saying the crown will not bend for a prince who walked away and then tried to crawl back when life outside went sour. And the timing makes it even more brutal, because while Harry is sinking with his failed Hollywood dreams, his ruined charities, and his broken image, his own father is standing tall, reminding the world that the crown comes before personal feelings. The decision is bigger than just a loan. It is history. It is a turning point, showing how the monarchy will stand strong against anyone, even family who dares to disrespect it. And for Harry, it leaves him as the cautionary tale of a prince who thought he could have everything on his own but lost his money, his honor, his influence, and even the support of his blood.
Stonewalling Harry and Meghan for years. They don't trust them an inch. And they've been blasted time after time, as recently as a couple of months ago in that BBC documentary. So I think it's really open-hearted of the king to have given permission for this meeting to take place. And interestingly, his aide turned up carrying a...
So while Harry kept throwing shade at the royals, dragging their traditions, and saying the monarchy was too cold, too old, and too strict, he still ended up crawling back in desperation, asking for money. And that is when King Charles finally stood firm and proved that being a father is one thing, but being a king is another, because the monarchy cannot and will not become a piggy bank for a runaway prince who traded duty for ambition and then lost both. This was not about being cruel or cutting off his own son. It was about principle, because handing him 13 million would have sent the wrong message to Britain, the Commonwealth, and the entire world. It would have told everyone that betrayal gets rewarded, that you can abandon the crown insult, the family live off its name in Hollywood, and then still expect a safety net when it all falls apart. But by saying no, Charles made a powerful statement, one that will echo far beyond Buckingham Palace. He reminded everyone that the crown is bigger than scandal, bigger than gossip, bigger even than blood family, and that loyalty to it is not optional. It is the foundation of its survival, and history has shown again and again that the monarchy has lasted through wars, crises, divorces, abdications, and scandals, because it never bends for one person, no matter who they are, even if that person is the king's own son. This refusal was about more than money. It was about preserving the dignity of an institution older than any individual, older than Charles, older than Elizabeth, older than Harry, and it was about showing the world that service is earned, not bought, while Harry faces debts, failed projects, and a broken reputation. The crown remains untouched, stronger than ever, and respected for holding the line. And in the years to come, people will look back on this as the turning point, the moment the monarchy proved it will not trade its honor for convenience or pity, the moment a father chose the crown over his son, not out of cruelty, but out of duty, and the moment Harry learned that no amount of ambition or celebrity can replace the loyalty he chose to throw away.
Brothers bottle bag. And that's a sort of very, very upmarket wine shop, champagne shop. I'm told it wasn't actually wine, maybe it was whiskey or something. And, you know, they have got a royal warrant. So it's a sort of another little subtle clue that, you know, this comes with a royal seal of approval, this meeting.
The king picked the crown over feelings duty over indulgence, and the monarchy over family drama. And that choice is a thunderous message that there will be no second chances. No secret bailouts, no lifelines for a son who picked exile and public attacks instead of loyalty and silence. And the public is not crying for Harry, they are clapping for Charles, the same people who once adored Harry as Diana's youngest boy, who felt so protective after her death and proud of his army service, now see him as the builder of his own downfall, and even polls are proving it with massive support for the king's refusal.
They were sending a good quality bottle of rosé to troll Meghan, you never know. One thing that is interesting is the fact that a part of Harry's attempts to butter up his family again is inviting his father and his brother to the 2027 Invictus Games, which will be held in Birmingham.
So many people in Britain are saying Harry's money plea was the biggest proof of his entitlement. Like, how can a man who ran away from his country to dodge duty come back with his hand out, begging for millions while still trashing the very system that gave him everything to normal taxpayers? It felt like a slap in the face, because families everywhere are struggling with bills, mortgages, and taxes. Yet Harry thought he could just ask for 13 million, like it was some tiny favor. And that is why the king's refusal hit so hard. It was not only a royal decision, it was a stand for fairness, showing the public that even royal blood does not get a free pass, and accountability still matters.
And yet, and there's always an and yet, isn't there, when it comes to Harry and Meghan, turns out that the occasion is going to clash with Queen Camilla's 80th birthday.
Yeah, this is my story as well from a couple of weeks ago. So they have organised this trip. They do really want the King and Camilla to come along.
The fall of Harry's charity has made the betrayal feel even worse for the very people he once promised to fight for. Veterans, donors, and families who once stood with pride beside him are now left with only anger and disappointment. They believed in him when he started it, trusted he would give leadership and stability, and they supported his big promise that service mattered more to him than the crown.
It sounds ridiculous because it's in 2027, but believe it or not, they do fill up their schedules this far in advance. I know the King's unwell, there's a lot of variables at play, but they do kind of plan ahead. And then he realised there was this whopping great big clash because it's the weekend of Camilla's 80th birthday, which will probably take place with a huge lavish party.
Instead, the charity slowly died under his watch. Donations dried up, big names pulled away, and the whole group lost its respect. And by the time it shut down, the very people who once carried it felt completely deceived because Harry was missing, distracted, and failing to bring in the support while looking more focused on his own image than the cause he promised to serve.
In Highgrove is the weekend of the closing ceremony. So now they're hoping they can get the king or Camilla, or maybe just the king, to the opening ceremony instead. But Harry tried to negotiate, well, Invictus on Harry's behalf, tried to negotiate with the Birmingham NEC, but they couldn't. I mean, they're literally booked up, so it had to be that week.
His focus on personal gain left them feeling abandoned, and for the veterans who served their country and the people who trusted him as a royal turned humanitarian, this collapse was not just about money, it was about morals. It showed them that Harry's big speeches about duty and service were empty lines made for cameras and deals not for real promise or genuine care. Hey guys, if you want all the latest royal drama and the truth behind the headlines, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join me on Taylor Tells All, where we spill all the tea and break down every story you need to know. Stay tuned and stay in the loop.